I just would like to say a few things. It's kind of late and I'm pretty exhausted. I've had like a really long last few weeks trying to like get settled and it was just like yeah, pretty exhausting. Even though I had um movers to help and one in particular was pretty cute, but I'm not gonna go there because I I'm busy, like I mean, with the move and stuff. Like I don't have time for that shit. Like I don't have time to worry about guys right now. I don't know if I'll ever have time. Like I don't make time for it. Like I just don't care. Um it's never been a priority for me. It's never in my life. I've always been focused about my business, about getting things done and basically being ambitious and getting ahead. I've never really made dating a priority in my life. So, um, like ever, it's never been important to me. It's funny because that's actually one of the diagnostic criteria for schizoid is rarely dates or marries. That's actually one of the diagnostic criteria, and I think like I definitely fit that. For sure, definitely. We just don't think it's important. Like neurotypical people, like a lot of them prioritize that, like connections and love and all that and dating. It like felt awkward for me. Like it just every single time I attempted it in the past, like or did date or was did get into a relationship, it was so weird. Like I didn't like it. Like I never liked it. I never got anything out of it. Even when I like dated like non-narcissists, like I didn't care. Like I didn't really want to be there. It was just so bad for me cuz another like especially for schizoid women, I would say even more way more than schizoid guys is the thing with it is we feel like very protective obviously of our solitude. And obviously when you date, when a schizoid female dates a guy, he's gonna expect, that kind of closeness, being in your vicinity, being in your room, being around you. And like we don't fucking like that shit. We don't like it. Like it feels so intrusive. It feels so intrusive on our boundaries. It's so intrusive. And when a guy is like, to get really physical with you, touch on you, all that, like it feels like a complete invasion of our bodies and violation of our boundaries. Literally it does. It has nothing to do with like sexuality. It's literally we just feel intruded upon and violated. And that's the whole thing about being like schizoid. If you meet the diagnostic criteria for it, is that we don't like anybody intruding on our boundaries. We get super angry and defensive when that happens. And part of the whole reason of becoming schizoid, I believe, is by having narc family members, narc parents, narc siblings that we all know narcs, that's all they do is intrude on your boundaries. They don't respect boundaries, they don't have boundaries. So when you're young and you constantly get intruded on, eventually you're going to form a personality where you block everything out. Your boundaries are so strict that nothing gets in, right? Because your boundaries have been intruded upon, since childhood. So when your boundaries are constantly being intruded upon by narcissists around you, eventually your walls are going to be so high, right, that like nobody gets in because um your boundaries were constantly crossed by narcissists in childhood that didn't have boundaries. So when you get older, you're going to develop a personality where your boundaries are made of steel. You're going to have extremely strong boundaries to where almost nobody gets in. And except for rare occasions, but even then, you don't really like let people all the way in. And I don't know, I kind of think that's important, especially if you went through that, in childhood with the constant boundary crossing. It makes sense, like why you're like that. And a lot of people may not understand that and be like, Well, you just have to give it a chance and, like, trust someone all the way and let someone in all the way. Like, no. Like, you don't have to fully trust anyone if you don't want to. So, but yeah, I mean, that's where the whole schizoid thing comes from. And the thing is, narcs, like, they don't understand it. It's foreign to them, like, it's alien to them. Because for them, everything in life is about, winning and crossing boundaries and, getting attention. So they don't understand it because they're constantly on dating. They're constantly trying to get into relationships and find, um, and control other people and all this and get validation and attention. That's like a nightmare for a schizoid. Sociopaths are the same way. They're constantly dating, constantly need validation. They'll lie and some of them will play it off like they're not like that, but they are. Um, the sociopaths I have met who try to pretend they were so edgy, and they could almost, some of them could even come off as schizoid or have PTSD or something. They want to come off so edgy, but they're really not edgy at all. They are constantly seeking supply, validation, attention. They'll try to come off as this dark, mysterious, edgy, above it all, like a schizoid almost, but they're not. They're not like that. They're literally not. They're the complete opposite. If you see how they actually behave, like they really do need people. They need supply and they need constant validation. They're constantly out here seeking out women, seeking out dating, all this constant validation, constant need for attention, and they can never be alone. So, like, I even question, I don't know, I question the guys who call themselves schizoid because, like, I don't know, some of them may truly be loners, but I think a lot of them, uh, like, like the fact that they're schizoid because then they feel um, like more disconnected emotionally. So I feel like that makes them feel powerful and like they can go out into the world and use for their bodies, use women sexually even more easier than other kind of guys that aren't as detached because they're schizoid, right? So they feel like they can use that as a power to go out and like harm women, hurt women, and that really pisses me off. A lot of them will go out and do that and be like, "Oh, I just want my physical needs met." But they'll lie to women about it, and it really pisses that those kind of guys that are apparently schizoid really piss me off. They really make me angry because they're gonna lie and be like, "Oh, I blah blah blah," but really they're just there, to like use women and hurt women, that maybe are like neurotypical or they get more like emotional, and they're gonna like hurt them and shit, and that really pisses me off. Like I have, a serious like, I don't know, problem with that. But they'll do that, a lot of them will do that. And that's why I think some schizoid guys can, some of them can be truly loners, but I think a lot of them will actively, have no guilt or conscience about hurting women, harming women, and using them while being completely detached from them emotionally. And I think that's really fucked up to do. I think it's really fucked up to do because as a schizoid woman, like I am not, like I dissociate a lot, but like I'm not, like there's rare occasions where I actually do connect, deeply with other people and on a, um, where I actually let somebody in. And most of the time though, try to just keep my boundaries really high, and I don't really like let people in. But just because I dissociate a lot, and I feel like disconnected sometimes from the world and myself, doesn't mean I'm gonna use that to like go out and harm anybody, like these guys do. And that's what really pisses me off. And it's the truth. Like it's the truth. That's what they do. And yeah, it's just a gender thing. But like I think with schizoid women we're very different, right? From the guys in that way. And I think it's fucked up what they do. Very fucked up. But that's no excuse to go out and like use or harm anybody, but they'll do that, a lot of them. So I don't trust them either. Like if I ran into like a guy who claims like he's schizoid, I would be like really wary of him, like just in the sense like if he like was trying to like date me or something like that, like I wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't trust it, like, and I have no reason to trust it, because I know what it's like, and I know, like, being schizoid, obviously, I know, like, how they could use it as, like, a harmful thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, to harm other people, and I wouldn't, like, be okay with that. So, there's no excuse, even if you're schizoid, to, like, hurt other people like that. Um, you know? Like, sometimes I can be, I guess because I was diagnosed with autism and schizoid, I can be disconnected, from other people, myself, the world. But I'm not gonna put myself into a position where, because of my moral compass, I'm not gonna put myself into a position to like lead anybody on or like hurt anyone or get involved with people like and um, just put on any act like like fake friendship or relationship or whatever, like a fake I'm interested, like I'm not gonna do that. So that's what narcs do, but I'm not gonna like purposely do anything like that. um the only thing I could say where being schizoid and autistic at the same time might harm other people is we're just very direct, right? We're very blunt, um a lot of the times logical, with our responses, and sometimes that can come across as harsh, toward other people, just because of the honesty, the bluntness, but it's not like meant to, um, to hurt anybody, to harm anybody, to hurt their feelings. But sometimes, yeah, it can come across as like insensitive and like rude and stuff, but like we're not trying to do it intentionally to like, bully or hurt anybody. Um, what else do I want to talk about in this video? I'm pretty tired. I have to go out and get some groceries because I have nothing. I have to do a bodega run. That's what they call it in New York City. In NYC, it's called a bodega run. I don't really like, some bodegas are okay, but a lot of them I don't like because they sell old products, old dusty products. Like the other day, I bought some things from a bodega corner store and it was like just old and crusty and expired. It was gross. I don't like a lot of what they sell in there. Just some of it's expired. But I have to go run, basically it's a corner store, and get some groceries because I have like nothing in my fridge since I moved. I don't have any groceries. I have to go get groceries. I have nothing here. I haven't unpacked a lot of my stuff. I have to organize, go to Target, which I don't know if you guys know in NYC. So, the big box stores that a lot of Americans have access to in most cities, easier access. In NYC, it's typically more difficult to access those kind of stores. Meaning, like, okay, let's just say you have a car in NYC, which is already very expensive and difficult, and I have a car here, parked in a garage. So your typical rate for parking in NYC, if you want to actually like not park out in the street and risk getting, your car hit or like totaled by reckless drivers in the streets, that like a lot of them are coming from countries where they did, let's just put it this way, they didn't learn how to drive in this country. So a lot of them just don't give a fuck, like they'll hit your car, just leave. So that's why I wanted to park in a garage. And the garages here, like the rates are like typically $300 a month on up. That's the low end, like 250, 300 a month, That's on the low end of paying for parking in a garage every monthly. So I think it's smarter to do that because like your car's less at risk than in the streets. But it's very expensive. So even if you park your car close to where you're living in a garage, driving in NYC is a fucking logistical nightmare. It it's difficult driving in any major city, but like NYC in particular, because of the fucking density of the city and because everything is packed tight, there's hard like the streets are narrow. Some of the streets you go and only one car fits down the street, and there's parallel parked cars just all down the entire street with no room. Like there's just like no room, and there's like aggressive taxis everywhere, the yellow cabs, like everybody's just like, and you can't turn on a red in NYC, like otherwise you'll get a major, like a fine, you'll get fined. So because of all these factors in the city and the complications of driving here, like it honestly, so a lot of times it makes driving in NYC a logistical nightmare, just because of like owning a car here and driving it around is a pain. Like because of the density of this city and the fact there's like 9 million people all cramped on in a tiny area, on a tiny island. Sometimes when you try to even drive like 1 mile, it could take you like almost half an hour or an hour just to drive 1 mile. So logistically, a lot of the times, it's a nightmare, and it's like pretty much, I believe it was like rated like the top 5 for worst traffic in the world, if not worst traffic and number 1 for worst traffic in the world in NYC. So every time you go out and drive a car here, like I want to do, I am met with the worst traffic in the world, and it sucks. It sucks because even at midnight, depends where you are in driving around NYC, but there could be traffic just like, you could be sitting for an hour just trying to go 1 mile. So whenever I do take my car out, like I want it to be strategic. I want it to be for a reason, and I know that wherever I take my car around the city, that it's going to be hard to find parking anywhere. And I might be circling a couple of blocks for like an hour or two just to find a space. I realize that. So I realize it is a huge pain to own a car in NYC and to have a car and an expense and drive it around. I know that. I think the only reason I have the car with me is because I haven't sold it yet, obviously, and which would take a lot of, even though my car is paid off, my car is paid for, it would just take a lot of expenditure off my plate in terms of paying to park it in a monthly garage where I barely use it. Because let's be real, in NYC you could just take the subway, right? The metro, so you really technically don't need a car because the subway in NYC runs 24/7. So I don't really necessarily need a car, but it helps sometimes, like if I want to go to one of the big box stores and buy stuff, or like Target or whatever, which again, it could be hard to get there sometimes with traffic and parking and all that. It's far away, and I believe Walmart's far too from NYC. The closest one for me is like anywhere from 45 minutes to over an hour away, probably more with traffic, like over an hour and a half. So it's hard to get to big box stores from NYC, like, Walmart, all that. It's just harder, and the ones that are here are close to NYC. They're like really small, or there's only like one or two, and they're overrun by people. So you go there and everything's gone, everything's sold out. So that's why it's hard to shop at like, the big stores here. Which I have to go to get some things. So it's like a mission it's like a CIA mission every time you want to go to a big box store in NYC. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna, I guess, keep my car, but it's like hard because, just the logistical nightmare basically of NYC. All the tickets you get, all the cameras on the lights that, the speeding cameras everywhere, all around the city, everything just ends up being a nightmare, because you can end up with a lot of tickets driving around NYC that are expensive. Just all the bullshit that comes with driving here, in the city. So, but I do it sometimes, so I take my car out sometimes here. And it's also handy to have a car in NYC if you ever want to go on a road trip, like to Boston, or Boston's like a 3-hour drive from here, 3.5-hour drive. If you want to drive to Massachusetts, to go and hang out in Massachusetts, if you want to drive to Connecticut, New Haven, Connecticut, there's a lot of cities there to explore. Rhode Island, there's a lot of places with, you could take your car out of NYC, and it's kind of nice, obviously, to be able to get out for a while and go somewhere else and come back So yeah, those are the places that New Yorkers will drive out of the city to go in their cars. But yeah, so anyway, back to what I was talking. I was gonna talk about feminism for a minute. So, um, pretty much we all know that like guys are never gonna be interested in feminism, right? They're never gonna be allies for feminism, never. The ones that claim they do, right? The few ones that do, we all know at the end of the day, they're full of shit, right? We all know. Anyone who is not naive and has some kind of awareness of the world is going to realize that these men are full of shit and that they're not actually allies or feminists. They're not. They're not. Men cannot never be feminists. They can't. And this is why pretty much all the men, all the guys fell off my channel like flies when I started talking about feminism, right? Because they were only lurking on my channel, right? Because they thought I was pretty, and they just basically wanted to hang around and try to hit on me or flirt with me. And when they realized that I wasn't having it and dealing with their bullshit, when I saw through them and saw through that, because they just see that like I'm single and pretty and all this stuff, and they think like they can have a chance or they can talk to me, and they can't. I'm gonna block them. I don't want to deal with that like bullshit, just coming around here pretending to support me, right? And then the second you hear about feminism, you get all defensive and you want to try to shut me down, right? From talking about it. No. Like if you're not gonna come on here and be supportive of what I talk about with feminism, then get the fuck off my channel, right? And they're all silent. Literally, when I post anything, pretty much it's usually women commenting or liking those posts. The guys know never, literally never. Never. Even like the few so-called allies, good ones, like they're secretly not. They're not actually allies. They don't like it. They don't like feminism. No guys on this planet support it. They don't. They literally don't. And they're going to fall off my channel like flies when they realize that I actually am a feminist and I'm serious about it. And I'm not just playing around. Like I'm not playing. And then they get all annoyed and they just like call me bitter and just get off my channel, or they call me crazy, bitter, and broken and all this stuff, and they'll just like leave my channel, right? Because they don't want to hear about it. They don't want to hear the truth, with feminism, with the oppression of women in this country, all around the world, the way their male privilege they have every day in society. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that. Instead of doing some self-reflection, they let their male egos, they let everything get in the way. And the fact that they were literally only on my channel because they thought I was pretty and just wanted to try to hit on me. They were not here to be an ally. They were not here to be supportive. They were not here to actually, be supportive of me. And that's why pretty much all the male followers that I have, all of them, like I'd say 99.9% have like fallen off like flies my channel. And it's understandable because when they hear like my feminist talks and all that, they just like they don't want to hear that shit. They don't want to hear that. What they want to hear, you know what they want to hear? They want to hear me validating their egos. They want to hear me stroking their egos, which I'm not going to do, by the way. They want me to compromise my boundaries for them, and to allow them to flirt with me in the comments, right? And hit on me in the comments. They want me to be weak and have like no boundaries with them. But I have strong boundaries with them, and then they leave my channel. They unsubscribe, they come off my channel, and they call me bitter and all this. No, I'm not bitter. I just have some fucking boundaries. I'm not going to allow you to come into this space that supports women, that's women focused, right? And try to center yourself in this women's focused space, right? For narc abuse survivors. I'm not going to let you do that. I am not going to let you do that and come in and do that. I'm not going to let you come into the space when I talk about male violence and rape and sexual assault and allow you to center yourself and be like, well, women do it too. Well, it's even worse. Like, no, shut the fuck up. You don't know. You have never experienced the terror, all right, of walking around the streets as women in a male society that was built by and for men. You don't know what that feels like, and you never will, so shut the fuck up, right? That's why men can never be allies. They can never be true allies or support feminism, you know? Because what they want from women is completely anti-feminist, right? They want women to submit to them in order to be a good woman, a good girl. They want women's emotional labor, right? Our emotional labor, our physical labor, our bodies, they want us to sacrifice our bodies for them and use our bodies as a vessel, right? For their legacy and all this shit. Like, no. And when you tell them, no, you're not gonna fucking touch me, you're not gonna use my body for anything you want to use it for. I don't want to have sex with you. I don't want to have any kids. I'm not gonna allow you to use my body as a vessel for, your legacy, your kids. Like, you're not using me for anything. When you're dead serious and you look them in the eyes and tell them that, they are not gonna fucking want to deal with you. They're not gonna want anything to deal like from you. Because that's the whole point, is they were only there to take from you. They only wanted something from you. They don't like women as people. Like, deep down, I think this is almost all men, like a vast majority of them, they don't like women as people deep down. Like, a lot of them will put on this act and pretend that they do. They like us as people, respect us. They don't. They don't. A lot of them don't. They because they're still looking at it from their ego, from their male ego. Like, they can't, they even like really artistic, really spiritual guys have a very difficult time separating from their egos. They really do. Their male egos, especially when it comes to how they deal with women. They really do. It is almost impossible, even for the most ascended, spiritual, intellectual guys to do that. It's very hard for them. And even they, the ones I met that are like that, even they get taken aback with how strong I am and how strong my boundaries are around them, and that I'm not going to just let them use me for their egos. Even they get taken aback, right? Even those kind of guys that I've dealt with that are very artsy, they're very open, they're very evolved, all that. Even they get taken aback by me, and the way I am around them and how strong I am on my boundaries. Even they get put off by it. Like, some of them have stuck around. Like, we're still, kind of like friends, acquaintances, whatever. But they, because these are guys that I know in real life, but they still keep a distance, right? Like, they know they can't really mess with me, so they kind of like have to respect me, but it's still kind of, it makes things awkward, but they kind of like realize that I'm like way too strong to be messed with. I'm way too strong to be used. As for their ego, to stroke their ego, like way too strong. Way too strong, and some of these guys like are in relationships that like I'm friends with, like acquaintances with, and they freaking know that I have such strong boundaries that like they will not be able to like use me as like to stroke their ego, or to feel like the man, right? Or to feel like they're single when I know they're not. Like, they know they can't. So it annoys them, but like they kind of do realize like, oh well, like I kind of like have to respect boundaries, respect her boundaries, all this. But just because I have strong boundaries does not exempt, guys from trying to still use me for like to feel like the man, or like to feel single, or to stroke their egos. Like, they still try. Like, even with my schizoidness and just being completely just detached and logical and just like closed off, right? And like not really interested in, a lot of socializing, they still try me. Like, they do. Like, they will still try to like use somebody like me, right? For like an ego stroke. And these are the evolved ones, and it's just crazy to me how, I don't know, how, like I said, even the most evolved ones can still use women for, like, you know, their ego validation, and knowing the whole time they have somebody at home, right? But yet want to act like they're single out in the world. It's just, it's bullshit. It's crazy. Meanwhile, I'm actually single, right? And I don't put on any front, like, but like a lot of these guys do, right? They want to act like, so many guys, you guys, like, just to want to be out in the world acting single. And a lot of them have a whole girlfriend, wife at home. And they're out here, the guys constantly want to act single. Like, what's that saying? Like, married guys are the most single guys. Like, they fucking do. And it's infuriating. It's infuriating because women don't act that way. A lot of women, married women in relationships, they're fucking loyal to their man, you know? And they don't go out in the world trying to act like they still got it or they're single. Like, they're loyal to him, they're committed. And it's fucked up how it's like one-sided like that, right? How it's one-sided, you know? It's bullshit. It's so manipulative, so deceptive. These guys literally trying to literally act like they're so single, right? On social media, they will never bring up the women they're with at home, that's at their house, you know, back home, their kids, nothing. Like, they don't, a lot of, some, I mean, some might bring them up for like narcissistic supply, but the narcs will, but a lot of guys don't. A lot of guys hide their women at home. They do. They hide her, like they hide her and the kids, and they'll be like, "Oh, I can't show you guys." They'll make up all these lies. I can't show you guys on my social media for my business or like my business success. They'll make up all these reasons why they can't show their women that they're with, the women they're with on social media, show her off. A lot of them would rather um like eat their own hand than show the women they're with on social media, right? Or their kids, or their family or whatever. Like, they won't do it. And I just think that's so fucked up, right? Because it's so deceptive, right? And then they'll be out in the world trying to like flirt with women and all this. And like they have a whole ass girlfriend, wife, family at home. It's so fucked up. It's really fucked up. Like, and then they want to act like they're not manipulative, you know, like they're still like really good people, you know. Meanwhile, they're like treating women that way, right? Like, they're treating actual single women who are actually fucking single, uh, eh, you know, and they're not actually single, but they're like trying to act like it and pretend they are. It's so fucked up. It's so fucked up. I just don't see women in relationships behaving like that. I don't. And we make excuses for these guys all the time. Oh, he's still a really good guy. He's not manipulative. He respects women. He respects you, even though he's doing that shit. Even though he's doing that, you know, like, even though he's doing that, he's acting that way, like, and it's so messed up. Hold on. I'm just like in bed here. Like, I'm sorry, like, I'm not sorry, but like, I'm sorry, but you are not a good person if you do that. Like, you're not. Like, and they'll act like they're still really good, kind people, but they will treat individual women like myself and other single women like this. They treat us like that. Like, they will act single, they will act like, you know, they're gonna be flirting with us, doing all this stuff. Meanwhile, again, they have a whole family, a whole life, a whole everything, right? Um, back home, but they'll still do little like boundary violations and shit and flirt and do things to act like that's not the case, right? To act like, oh yeah, like I'm totally single and unattached and all this, and they're not. And a lot of them will treat women like myself like, actually, again, actual single, like, women who are not living with a man, who don't have a man in their lives back home, all this, like this. and then still claim like that they're, you know, good, kind people and respectful does not seem very respectful to me, you know, and they think they could just get away with it. Like they do it, you know, they do it all the time, like to single women, like treat us like this. And they just don't see they know it's fucked up, but they feel like they can still get away with it, right? And still call themselves a really good person. It's just really fucked up, right? You know, because these men, like, they don't bring it up. You know, when they're hanging out with you, or they talk to you, they will not be mentioning their girlfriend, right? Or their wife, or their kids, or anything. Like, they won't talk about it because they're trying to, you know, put on that act like that they're single, unattached, and they're not. I don't have to put on any act. I don't have to pretend, because I actually am single, unattached, all that, and I don't have a family, anybody at home. Like, what the fuck? But they'll act like that, you know? And I just think it's like really, really fucked up, right? A lot of them do this, and they act, they still act like they're like just like really good people. I don't know. I don't know. It's just infuriating, like, you know, and they won't just like be honest, right? About any, like, they just won't be honest. It's infuriating. But like, you know, a lot of the time, like in society, like we allow guys to do this. Like we allow them to behave like this, you know? Like we enable them, and it's really fucked up. So yeah, going back to what I was saying, none of them can be feminists. None of them. None of them. I stand on that. I stand on that. Like they literally cannot be feminists. And a lot of women that like claim they're 4B, like they're part of the 4B movement. Like I'm actually part of the 4B movement, and I have been for like 8, 9 years now. But since I was like, I'd say like 27 when I stopped dating. I was stopped dating when I was 27, 26, 27, no, 27. That's when I stopped dating, and so 7 years later, here I am. But yeah, about 7, 8 years, just literally completely uninvolved in the dating world. So that makes me 4B, right? Um, but there's a lot of women that will claim that they're 4B. Meanwhile, they have a boyfriend back home, they got a husband, they've got kids, all this back home. But that's the whole premise of the 4B movement, right? Is that you don't date, right? You don't sleep with men, you don't live with them, you do not get into a relationship with them, you do not marry them, you do not have kids with them. That is 4B. So you are 4B if you are all those things, if you don't do any of those things. Um, but yeah, that's the 4B movement, and I've been part of that for like a while, like a long time. Um, but again, because of my 4B stance, like I said, I have been called all kinds of names, and I don't give a fuck at this point. Um, but I think that's how a lot of people, a lot of guys in general react when they hear your stance, and they just automatically call you bitter and all this, when it's actually a very logical conclusion, I think, for young women to make, especially in their 20s, to make about guys, and to pretty much like not deal with them on a personal level. Like I said, you can have them as like acquaintances, you know, like professional contacts, acquaintances, like because maybe you use them for professional services, you know, that you need, like obviously in your life. But outside of that, and even with those professional services you use men for, like that you need them for, honestly, like if you really search hard enough, you know, sometimes you can find some female like service providers. I know they're not as like common in certain industries, but like if you search, you can probably find them. So that's where I'm getting to a point now, you guys, to be honest, to be quite honest, because of the male egos that I don't like to fucking deal with these service providers I use. I am getting to a point where I am literally gonna start for my professional services that I need to get done. I'm going to literally try to start finding all female providers for real. Like in terms of professional services I need, like for example, when I had to get some moves done recently with movers, certain professional things, like even getting my car fixed. I know it's not as easy to find women in those fields, those industries, but like I am literally gonna try to find and search for those profession like women in to use them for service, like those kind of services for real. I'm gonna try to start to find them, and so because I can feel more safe and comfortable working with them, especially in my home. Like, having strange men come into your apartment, your home, and move things is very unsettling for women, especially women like myself with PTSD. With CPTSD, it is very burdensome having strange men in our home. Because as women, like, I know I feel a very visceral reaction of like a predator in my home or fear when a strange male comes into my space. I think all women feel that. And I feel on alert, right? I feel on edge and I don't want them in my space. If they are, a service provider setting up internet in my home, my apartment, or if they're coming in to move, I feel very threatened. I don't like them in my space. And I think most women are like this. If they have a strange male in their space, they feel threatened, right? Not rightfully so. We feel internally in our gut, we feel like a predator is in our vicinity. We feel fear, very real fear in our guts that men simply do not feel around women. We feel a visceral fear in our guts for our physical safety. And we have every right to feel that given the statistics of how, male violence toward women and what they can do when they are in an enclosed space with us and there's no way for us to escape to get out. So I do feel that, and I like to keep the door open if they're in my place working so that if I need help or if I need to get out, if they get violent or they do something crazy, then I can do that. I like to have an escape route as somebody with CPTSD. I don't like the door closed behind them when they're in my place alone with me. So this is what we as women have to deal with in this male dominated world. And men never have this fear. They do not have to fear any women coming into their place and being alone with them in their place for their physical safety, at least. They don't have to fear for that. So yeah, that's what I'm saying, and that's why it sucked during my last move to have to deal with the male service providers and have them in my space. I did get very annoyed by that. I don't like them in my space. I just don't. I don't trust it. I don't like having to have them in my private space. I have never lived with a man. Even when I was in relationships before, I never did. I just, the whole idea of it is just like really intrusive, to me. Like it's very intrusive on my boundaries. I don't want them in my space. I don't. I literally don't. So yeah, I think that's a lot of women. Like we don't like them in our space. If more women were honest, they would probably say that. Well, I think especially neurodivergent women. To close that blind, there's like light coming in. It looks like I can't change that right now. I think especially like neurodivergent women really like don't feel comfortable with like men in their space. Maybe like neurotypical women don't really mind it or care. Hold on a second, let me turn this in. But I know for like if you have autism or whatever, oh shit, I'm trying to get my blind to come down, but it's like hard because my TV's in the way. Oh my god, I have to do something about this TV. It's annoying. What the fuck is this? Hold on a minute. Yeah, it's very annoying to have this blind right here. I do not like having this here. Okay, anyway, I just had to close my blind, but I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I gotta move it. Just everything's everywhere. That's what I hate about moving is my, like, unpacking really sucks and I'm really slow at it. So like everything is everywhere. I still haven't unpacked. Like my last move, which was like not even 6 months ago, I didn't even unpack everything. It had been like months and I still didn't unpack everything. So I'm kind of like lazy in that regard, like unpacking. Plus, I can't unpack a lot anyway. Like in a small apartment, you can't unpack everything unless you get rid of like a lot of your stuff. So, um, that's my justification for not unpacking. Um, so yeah, but I think like, um, I think like that neurotypical women will be fine with that. But like if you're neurodivergent or whatever, like you have autism, all this, like it's like sensory overload. Like it gets so annoying. You don't want somebody like that in your space. Like you don't. You don't. It's overwhelming. Like it's annoying. So like if more autistic women and like neurodivergent women were fucking honest, they would probably be like, yeah, I can't stand having men or kids in my space. Like they would, if they were honest, like if they were honest with themselves in the world. But I think a lot of them are just too afraid to be seen as like a bad person or like a, a bad mother or just whatever the fuck society constantly punishes and judges women for. Me personally, I don't give a fuck. I don't care if people think that I'm cold or whatever, or like I don't care because my boundaries and my peace of mind comes first. But I think the problem is a lot of women don't put themselves first. They put everybody else first, you know, what society thinks of them. They put their kids first, all this stuff. Like they don't put themselves first. That's the problem. So I think more women need to get a lot more selfish and put themselves first. I think the world would collapse, honestly, the global economy that like benefits off women's free labor, free emotional labor, free physical labor, free reproductive labor. I really think this world would totally collapse, you know, without all that invisible labor. So, um, but yeah, I think especially with autism, with all that, like that I've been diagnosed with schizoid, like living with somebody, with roommates, or even living with just family, with anybody really, like, is just torture. Like we literally prefer our alone time and solitude. I don't know if you guys know, but like a lot of artists, music. I'm an artist myself. I brought some of my artwork got messed up on the last move, but I brought a lot of my artwork with me. I am an artist. I have not painted in a little while now, but I do love to paint. So being an artist also, yeah, a lot of artists are schizoid. They are. They love their solitude, all that. They love their solitude, and I'm one of those. There are so many artists in this world, you guys, musicians that are schizoid. And a lot of people don't know they are, or they're not diagnosed. But I think there's a lot of artists that are, because think about it, like they have to be alone, right, with their thoughts, with their creative thoughts, you know, making art, all that, all day. So it makes sense being like schizoid, you know, because schizoids spend a lot of time alone. So do artists. A lot of artists do, so it makes sense. Um, I also believe famous like people in the world were schizoid, like Albert Einstein. All these people like were I don't know if they were diagnosed, but they were schizoid. So some of the smartest people in the world are schizoid. But yeah, I think like it's torture for somebody like that. It's torture to have somebody in your space, you know? 24/7, literal torture. I think that's why like a lot of autistic and schizoid women are totally child free. I think again, I've said this in so many of my other videos, it's because of the intrusiveness. You know, we can't handle having someone in our space, you know, like maybe neurotypical women can, like 24/7, right? Demanding attention, clinging on to us, you know, wanting all this attention and affection and love and all that like we can't express, right? It's hard for us to express like I don't even like people touching me that are like close to me, right? And so it's one of those things where like I feel like that would be the ultimate intrusion on my boundaries. Like we just go, it drives us crazy, like, you know, it's overwhelming. For neurodivergent women, it's overwhelming. And so that's why I never wanted that in my space. You know, I don't see it as a blessing. I don't see kids as a blessing. I see it as a curse. I see it as a literal demand on my freedom, which I'm never going to give up for anybody. I see them as a burden, financially, obviously, to women, especially because women already struggle, right, in this world financially. They already make less than men. They make like 80 cents to the dollar. And if you put a child on top of that, or multiple kids, like, you're talking about a serious financial drain on them. So all these factors combined, I just feel lucky right now and grateful that I'm child free. Like, I feel so grateful that, like, that I'm this way, that nothing ever happened to me in life, with a man. I never got pregnant, like nothing happened to me. Thankfully, even when I was assaulted in the past by men, sexually assaulted, nothing happened to me. So I feel very lucky and like grateful that I can exist now child free, and like that I have not been slowed down by no man by impregnating me, but I haven't been slowed down in this world by no baby, and I have been able to ascend, and get to a place where a lot of women dream to be. They wish they could be, in a place of financial sovereignty and just getting to financial freedom, right? That a lot of women want to get to, but it's hard because, again, of those struggles with having been strapped down and slowed down by a man, And I kind of knew this unconsciously even when I was younger. Like, and a lot of women don't want to admit this, but I knew when I was younger that these guys were just going to only hold me back, right? From following my dreams with my career and traveling and, experiencing the world and pursuing my hobbies, my dreams, painting, my artwork, writing, all that. Like, I just knew that they were going to be a barrier and get in the way of that. So that's why I kind of avoided relationships, avoided dating, didn't really prioritize it, except for obviously those few times when I was with narcissists who we all know they manipulate you into trying to make them the center of your world. So because they do that, they take away your autonomy and your ability to think clearly, all that. So, but yeah, I'm not gonna say too much. I have to go on a bodega run pretty soon and get some things. I have nothing in this apartment. I have no food, no drinks, nothing. So I need to get some of that. I think a lot of guys mistake my face because, like, I'm on the younger looking side for my early 30s. So a lot of guys think that, like, they can fuck with me, they can mess with me. They think I have this, like, innocent vibe or whatever. But no, like, there's nothing innocent about me. I am very hardened. I have a lot of street smarts, and my boundaries are very strong. So I dare any of them to try. But a lot of them get this vibe off me, like, they say, oh, you seem innocent and pure and all this shit with my energy. Yeah, that might be the case, but that doesn't mean that I'm for your fucking consumption, sir. Like, that doesn't mean that you are allowed to intrude on my boundaries, or try to hit on me when I don't want to be fucking hit on, or try to date me when I don't want to be dated. I don't want to date. Like, that gives you no entitlement to my energy, my boundaries or whatever. And the male entitlement is real. They see that you're single. They see you don't got a man. They see in your energy you seem, happier. You're glowing, right? And they want to feed off that. They want to feed off your light, off your energy, off your life force, giving energy as women that we have. And I'm not allowing them access to shit. They're not getting anything from me. And that's why they get angry, because they feel entitled to that. And I'm not going to give them anything. They get no emotions from me. They get no reactions from me. They don't get my energy. They don't get nothing from me. I don't give them anything. I don't give them shit. I don't give men shit, right? Like, I don't give them anything, nothing. There was a guy that I'll just say, when I traveled not that long ago to Miami, and he saw I was there. I was visiting. And I didn't tell him, right? I had just posted about it, like, on my Instagram story, and that I was there. I was chilling, right? I was swimming. I was going to the beach. I went to Miami that week because I wanted to go to the beach. I wanted to go to the art fair, Art Basel. It's not an art fair, it's Art Basel. I just wanted to go to Art Basel. Very simple, and then I was gonna leave and get some beach time. So I was there for a week, and he saw that I was there. And he basically found me where I was staying. Yes, because he saw where I was at on my story. And in Miami, especially Miami Beach, it's a small world. That part of Miami, so people kind of know where places are, right? And he saw where I was at, the location, and he showed up, right, with his friends. He showed up to say hi. And I was like, yeah, this is like, I don't know. I just thought it was like awkward because I wasn't really seeking him out, right? Because again, we're talking about professional services here, right? You understand? So that's pretty much, I wasn't there to get that done. So I didn't have any reason, to deal with him, to contact him. But he found me, okay? And I wasn't looking for him because I don't look for men, right? I don't search for them. I don't try to get their attention or validation if it's not for a specific purpose. Do you understand? If it's not about business, if it's not about something professional that I need from them, on a personal level, I have nothing to do with them. So this is what happened. And he found me trying to get all personal, right? And friendly. And I just kind of thought to myself, this is weird, because I'm not contacting him for any professional reason. And so there he was, showing up. And I was like, and when I did reciprocate and I was kind of friendly back on a personal level, a little bit, just a little bit, like not like anything too crazy, like I just stopped by his shop and said hi. Like he asked me to do, because again, I posted a story that I was in Miami. He saw it, and he saw that I was not reaching out to him, right? And that's a male ego thing, like going back to what I was talking about, their egos, you understand? And to him, it's like, well, you're in town, you're in my city, and you're not, you know what I'm saying? And you're not reaching out to me, but you're here. So that bothers me, right? That bothers my ego. So I'm going to find you, search you out with my friends, right? With my buddies, find you, hold you down, right? Pin you down, get that. You understand what I'm saying? You understand where I'm going with what I'm going with here, where I'm going? Pin you down, right? Get my ego boost, my ego stroke, because it was about him. Get my ego validation in front of my peers, right? My friends. Validation, ego boost. And then use you, right? Because that's what was happening to me. I was being used to validate myself, in my circle of people, right? That I know so and so from out of town that's coming to visit Miami. And then, right? And then retreat back into like my world without actually, being genuine to you, right? Genuine to me, I mean, and a friend and all that, right? You know what I'm saying? That's what that was, right? It was about ego boost, ego validation. That's why I'm sick of it. I am so sick of it, you guys. And even dealing with them on a professional level, I'm tired. I'm sick of it. But that's what happened. And I was just like, like annoyed, because I'm like, I am very professional, right? I'm treating this as a professional relationship. You understand? So why would I reach out to you for personal reasons when we have a professional relationship? And that's what he did, right? You guys see where I'm going? He reached out to me on that personal kind of level and then kind of initiated it. And when I kind of like reciprocated a little bit because I was being nice, right? That's what gets me every time. Being nice back to them, being friendly back to them. Again, I was not seeking him out. I did not contact him. I was chilling. I was doing my own thing. He found me. He found me on Instagram, on my stories, and he sought me out, not the other way around. And because again, I don't look for men. I don't seek them out. I don't search them out. They find me. So this is what happened. And that's my story. But so basically, That's what happened. And then he kind of left. And then so he kind of came in, right? Like a tornado, used me for that ego boost. And then when I reciprocated, reached back out, he acted like I was the one, you know, what I'm saying, breaching the professional line, right? When I hadn't even been reaching out for, you know, anything that was not professional related when I was there. So that's what happened. I basically felt like I got played, I got used, you know what I'm saying? Even though I wasn't the one breaching that, he was, that professional line. So that really pissed me off. And again, going back to the male ego, right? It floors me. It floors me to no end when they do that. And this is somebody that I do see as genuinely good and kind and all this, and he did that to me. You understand? He did that. And he's with somebody, right? Like he has a whole family, and he did that to me. Like it just feels so fucked up, you know? Because it is. It is. And that's what happened. So, like, I don't get it. I don't get it because I'm honest, you know. I was not gonna reach out unless I had a purpose. Like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm reaching out because I need this professional service, right, from you. I did not reach out because I didn't need it at the time. I was staying in Miami that week. I was not there to get his services. I was just there to, you know, for the beach and the Art Basel fair event. So I was not there to see him. But what did he do? He saw me in the story chilling at the place, found the place, showed up one night when I was there chilling in the lobby of the hotel, and ran into me with his friends, coincidentally, even though we all know because I posted it on my story, so he saw it. He saw the location and he showed up. And I did not reach out to him. I was not looking for him. He found me. He reached out to me and said, "Oh, you're here. Oh, you're in Miami." So this is what I'm talking about. This is the bullshit that. And it is. It's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. I was not seeking them out. This is what I'm talking about. And he's one of the good ones. The good ones, you know? The kind ones, the genuine ones with really good energy. And he does have really good energy, but that's what he did to me. That's what I'm talking about. That male ego, the fucking patriarchy system we live in. That because of their gender, they feel like entitled to just use us. Like use us. It's about constant using of women. It's about fucking using us like objects to prop up their own, you know, validate their egos. I hate it. I can't stand it. And that's why I checked out of the system a long time ago, because I'm not playing a rigged game that's rigged against me. But that's what happened that night, and I'm just, or that time I was there, and you know, it's just, like I was going back to earlier my video, these guys acting single and they're not, you know? When meanwhile, me as a single woman, I'm actually fucking single. It's infuriating. Because he did that, and like he has, like I said, a whole like family and all this. I don't know. And I was not the one who crossed the line, so it's fucked up, because the second that I'm nice back and friendly back, that's what happens. So I mean, like I said, I'm not seeking them out. I am not looking for them, and this is what happens. So it further solidifies and further proves my point, to be a separatist and to possibly try to find more, female service, professional like work people that I work with, in my circle. Like I just want them, like from now on, not, working with like artists, male artists, or like male service workers or whatever, because this is the type of shit I'm talking about. It's just constant disappointment. Constant disappointment. Constant disappointment, right? Constant boundary violations. It's constant with them. Like, especially if you're an attractive woman, like you get that all the time. And it's really a disgusting feeling because you know that you're just being used as a prop, right? To prop up their image and to make them look good for like one night, one day in front of their people. And that's all you're being used for. You're just literally being like used as like, oh, look here, look over here, like an object. It's fucked up. It's very fucked up. I'm telling you, like pretty women have it the worst, like in this world. Like they have it really bad. They have it really bad. Like less attractive women will like talk about how a lot of men just like ignore them because they're not attracted to them, or treat them horribly because they have no attraction to them. And like that's true. A lot of the times they will ignore them. There was actually an incident, I believe, that happened one time. Because if a guy's not attracted to you, sexually attracted to you, a lot of the times they're not gonna do shit for you, right? So there was like an incident with like this older lady, like I don't know, she was like an old woman or something, and she was like drowning in a pool, and like all these guys were around her, walking around her, but because these younger guys, but because she was like an older woman, like they just literally sat and watched her die because they weren't sexually attracted to her, right? It's so fucked up, but like yeah, that's how they are. That's why I don't fucking trust them. I don't. They have given me every reason not to trust them, as I'm explaining now. So they have given me no reason to trust them whatsoever. So anyway, I gotta go on my bodega run. I gotta get some things that I need. I don't have any drinks. I don't have any food. Um, so I hope you guys take care. I am still getting back into the swing of things, being a New Yorker again, and trying to get used to everything again, the subway, all that. So it's coming along, but I feel like it's gonna take me a few months to settle in. So again, but yeah, in the meantime, I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. and take care of yourselves, and yeah. I just love this lifestyle that I live, right? 4B, because I have been shielded from so much bullshit by adopting this lifestyle. And like I said, even the rare instances where a guy does get kind of in my orbit, like those bad things happen, like I just mentioned. So I'm just so glad that I have eliminated so much of that stress and bullshit from my life. And you can see the physical manifestation of that on me. I'm glowing. I don't look stressed. And because I'm not having to deal with that bullshit, right? Like I just mentioned, on a daily basis, I don't have to deal with it. I don't have to deal with it. The amount of bullshit women have to tolerate off men in relationships, where they have to constantly look over their shoulder if he's eyeing other women, which they do. Trust me, they all do. If he, if he's like, yeah, I don't have to deal with none of that. I am protected because I don't deal with him. And that's why you can see, like, I'm happy, I'm glowing, I feel good about myself because I don't have to deal with that nonsense. I don't have to deal with them oogling other women, or paying for OnlyFans subscriptions, or like constantly talking about other women, looking at other women, trying to make me feel insecure and not enough. I never have to tolerate that off any man ever again in my life because I don't deal with them. It's that simple. it's that simple. If more women woke up to this fact and realized that they're optional, like they don't have to deal with them or date them or anything, oh my God, they would be so much happier, I feel, less stressed, less stress-free. But anyway, I'm gonna get going. Take care.